All right, good morning, guys. Today is Monday, March the 20th, and as usual, we'll be trading US 30 gold and EU. Last week we had a winning week, pretty much all wins Monday through Thursday. On Friday, we took a small loss on US 30, but then we were able to recover with the EU sell, pending order sell that we set on the live session. Let me see. I'm trying some new things with some alerts. So we had a EU sell last week that hit full TP for 50 pips. So that was ideally in the middle of the daily bearish zone. So anybody who took the loss on the live session should have been able to recover. So right now I'm looking for a sell on US 30 for between the hourly bearish high and hourly bearish low. I set a pending order before market open and had stop loss above the high. So I got stopped out for that one for 50 pips. But to me, it doesn't matter because if you guys saw the trade I took on gold yesterday, that was a pretty heavy profit for me. But I'm looking for a sell on US 30 now, but I need price to close below the 9 EMA. So I set a pending sell limit before, or whatever, sell stop sell limit before the market opened, and it took me out. But again, I don't like trading before market open because you get a lot of, and there you go, you got a lot of manipulation, but that's fine. So what I'll do right now, I don't see gold is moving too slow, EU is moving too slow. That's fine. So I'll move on the 1 minute on US 30 because I expect US 30 to drop. And then I need this to be established as a high. So I'll draw a hanging trend line up here, and hopefully you guys can hear me. Yes. So I'll draw, well, I need another zone to be established, but ideally right now I am looking for a sell on US 30. I am still bearish on US 30. So what I have right now, I've started playing around with alerts. So right now I have like an alert for gold, and so if you guys see my alerts, I have a gold, US 30, and EU sell alerts. So how I've configured those alerts is to alert me when price closes below the 9 EMA. So you guys can see like how EU has just been trending up, right? So if we're looking for a sell on US 30, and setting this alerts will be a game changer for you guys, because if you guys remember, like we've had instances where gold, US 30, or EU have been trending down like the whole time, especially before heavy news or after heavy news. And then in order to catch a reversal, like when we've backtested this before, we've been talking about if only you waited for the candle to either close above the 9 EMA or the to close above the 9 EMA or below the 9 EMA, you could have gotten a good entry. So that's why I've started using alerts. So right now I need this 5 minute to close below the 9 EMA, and then I need a retest of the 9 EMA to enter this short. So, we have a 30-minute bearish high, which aligns with the hourly bearish high. We have an hourly bearish low, which aligns with a 30-minute bearish low. But then we also have an hourly bullish high here, right? So we have a possible push to the upside. So let me just highlight this in a little bit of green, just a little bit. So we have hourly bullish high and hourly bullish low here. So for me personally, I'm still bearish on US 30. But if any one of you you're trading and you get a confluence that aligns with this hourly bullish high and hourly bullish low area, you can catch a buy. But I'm trying to find a sell on US 30. But so long as price does not close below the 9 EMA on the 5 minute, I will not be doing that. On the other hand, we can see if we can catch a buy, but I need to see this analysis more. So we have price rejecting at the 9 EMA. This might be a bullish hammer candle. This is 980. Yes, so this, if it closes as a bullish hammer candle, that would be a possible buy because the wick of this candle is about 50 or 60 pips. So that's what you want when trading a hammer candle. And if this closes as a bullish hammer candle, yes, I'll take a buy. Stop loss should be below the low of this candle. So just remember, today is Monday, bound to have a lot of manipulation. And remember, for me, the overall bias is still bearish. So and we also have a bearish high here. So if you're going to take this trade, I would recommend using a 20 pip take profit instead of a 50 pip. So it looks like it's going to close. Let's see. Just a second. So there's still a little bit of wick on top, but I'm in the trade. Let me mark this up. Long position. So ideally, do a 20 pip. So this should be what, 20? And let's see if the 50 will be below the candle. So the stop loss should be below this candle right here. So I'm in the trade. I'm up 10 pips. It should be almost hitting take profit. So the only reason I'm going for 20 pips is that we have this bearish zone. So give me 1 second because I'm trading on my phone. Yeah, and that should have hit take profit for 20 pips. So I'm still in the trade because I'm trading on my phone. But if you're going for 20 pips, that should have hit take profit. And you can see it's rejecting exactly from the hourly bearish high, right? So last week, I talked to you guys about price rejecting exactly from a zone we are looking for. So I just closed out this trade for 30 pips. So normally we would go for a 50 pip take profit, 50 pip stop loss. But because we have an hourly bearish high here, I'm not going to risk that. So that's why I asked you guys to do a 20 pip take profit. And if you took that trade with me, you should still be in profit. If you're still in this trade, set break even and secure at least half of that trade. But there you go, our first winning trade of the week. So I have that gold trade I took yesterday that I posted in the group. This morning I did mention I had a sell order before market open because ideally I'm looking for sells on US 30, but I got stopped out during this manipulation. But at least we caught this buy. So even though you're still going for 50 pips, I think you should be around there. Yeah, but that's a good trade to start off the week, a winning trade. Let's see, gold is still moving slow, but for you guys, you can see gold, we're in a bearish, right? So these are supply zones that I've marked up. So this is not an indicator or anything. These are just supply zones that I've marked up on higher time frames. So you can see we're not even in a white zone, right? So this is a heavy sell zone on gold. So this is the ideal. And if you guys go back, or if you've been on the live session for the last 1.5 weeks, I've been bullish on gold. So I did say that I'm looking for gold to come all the way up to 2050 area. So last week we did catch some buys on gold. We caught some sells on, I think we caught a sell on gold, a filler sell on gold on Friday, but it did hit stop loss. But again, it was a filler sell. Now, this thing I'm talking about, like setting alerts on your phone, like yesterday when I took that gold sell for 50 pips, I believe, I'd started playing around with the alert, and this was after market opened. So what I had this alert set, gold crossing the 9 EMA. So what happened, I got an alert after gold closed below the 9 EMA here, right? It was around 1985. I think that's when I took that gold sell. Let me see. Let me check my phone. Yeah, around 1985 area. So I got this sell on gold. I saw that we were in between or within a supply zone within a supply zone. So what I did here, I came in, I entered this position. I had a 50 pip stop loss, 50 pip take profit. I think I actually went for 70 pips take profit. Yeah, I went for 70 pips. And I used a heavy lot size for you guys who saw what I posted in the results. And there you go. That thing hit full TP within one candle, 2 candles. So in like 10 minutes, I was able to secure 70 pips. So that's why you need, because here I was definitely looking for a sell. I saw that this zone had been retested. It tested halfway of the zone, price came back down, closed below the 9 EMA for the very first time in a long time, right? This was after market open. And then I said, I got the alert. I entered the position with a heavy lot size. But right now, gold is moving too slow. You can see the candles are not moving that much. EU, I'm still looking. So here's what I'm waiting for EU. I'm waiting for EU to get to this hourly bearish high, hourly bearish low, which aligns with a 30-minute bearish high, bearish low. And then what I'll do, I have an alert set for EU when it crosses the 9 EMA. So we'll get that alert. So at least we're not going to be missing some of these trades on the live session anymore. And you can see here all these wicks. So this tells me there's a lot of sellers here for US 30. So if this sellers, and you can see right now we're on the 5-minute, personally, I'm looking for a sell to ride this sell back down at the very least to this trend line on the hourly. So I need a good confirmation. So I need price to come back around the 9 EMA and ideally to close below the 9 EMA and get a retest and then sell from there. So, and I already have an alert set for US 30, so we're not really missing anything. So right now, the only trade that I see, so I've been waiting for EU to come up here, but unfortunately, I haven't gotten like any buying opportunity to ride price. So for here, EU, what we'll do, hourly bearish high is, let's call that 774.40 to 73.40. So this is a 10 pip zone, right? So what I'll do here, so we have a supply zone within a supply zone. So this is the hourly bearish high and bearish low. I'll change this to red because it's a supply zone. And if we do that, you can see we have a supply zone within a supply zone. So ideally what we do, we break this zone into two. So into three, right? But you can see this is a 10 pip zone. So it's not big. So 74.40, call that 74.40. This is 30, no, 73.40. So this would be 73.90, the middle of this zone. So the only trade I can see coming up is a short on EU. 73.90, did I say? Yeah, so around there. So if we're breaking this zone into into three, right? We normally have three trades: a filler trade, a second trade, and a third trade. So for here, I don't see any need to do, well, I can see it rejecting from the bearish low. So since this is only a 10 pip zone, we should be able to do a filler trade around here. So normally a stop loss is 20 pips. That's if you're using a standard lot size. But if you're using a filler lot, you can go for 40 pips. 40 pips stop loss, 500 pips take profit. And this is a small lot size. Remember, use a filler lot size. You can see your stop loss for this one would be, so if you're entering, I don't think I have time to send this in the group because we're on the live. So if you're setting a pending sell on EU, so this is a small lot size. Remember, this is a small lot size. Personally, I may not use a small lot size, but I know what I'm telling you guys, especially if you haven't yet realized where to recover a trade from. So this would be 1.07342 area. That's where your entry would be. 50 pips take profit, 40 pips stop loss. This is a filler lot size. Your second trade, which would be a bigger lot size, and this is the more probable trade because you see it's a sell. We are in a supply zone within a supply zone, right? Because you can see a darker red within a lighter shade of red. So the other sell would be around, give me a second. So this one, you can do a 20 pip, 20 pips, just a second. You can do a 20 pip stop loss and a 50 pip take profit. So this sell, if you're on the live session, the second one would be around 1.07389. So 1.07391, ideally that's the entry, but to make sure that you don't get caught with slippage, you can set between 1.07376 whatever is between 1.07376 and 1.07391. So it doesn't have to be exactly there. You can just lower it a little bit so that at least you get tapped in, because we've had instances where our entries get missed by like 1 pip. So you're not going to lose a lot of money just setting your pending sell just a few pips lower than what I've given to you guys. The third sell entry will be at the hourly bearish high, which is at 1.074. I would say 1.07438, so as not to miss getting tapped in. For this one, again, stop level. So 20 pips stop loss, 500 pips take profit. All right, perfect. Now, again, right, remember what happens. If price comes heavily against us here on this filler trade and keeps trending up without any retracement, so since this is a very small zone, like 10 pips, I just recommend if you set again, okay, well, here's what I'll say. Since we're on the live session, only set the filler trade for now. Only set the first trade. The others, just mark them up for future, because what price can do, it can come up here and then reverse down here, pick up liquidity and shoot down. So for now, just set the first one. If you've set the other two, just take a screenshot of those entry points, and then take a screenshot of those entry points and delete these two orders if you're not comfortable. So number one, it's a Monday. But if you have like a 0.5 here, a 1, a 0.5, a 0.8, or one lot here, you should be able to survive this, because you need to consider this is a 10 pip zone. This is such a small zone. But if we do get an entry here, it's going to be a sniper entry. So what I plan to do, if this trade comes heavily against or just keeps trending up, I plan, so I have the EU alert set so that when price closes below the 9 EMA, then we get an entry. Because what can happen, price can come up here, go this way, right? So with a filler lot, you should be able to survive this. But if you enter a bigger lot size here and you get tapped into this position and price goes this way, right? Depending on what your second lot size is. So it's all about risk management. So if you can survive this move with two of these price points going against your way, then well and good. Because what can happen, price can come this way, and then we get that alert that EU has closed below the 9 EMA on the 5-minute, and we get an even bigger entry where you can use a bigger lot size comfortably. So, okay, so US 30 blasted above. So we did not get any confirmation for a sell. That's perfect, but at least we were able to ride to catch a buy on US 30. I'm not sure if there's anybody who held even a 50 pip move or whatnot. So at least we've caught something. You can see where US 30 is rejecting from. So if you see the hourly, the chart on my right, it's rejecting from the 200 EMA. So remember this price points. US 30 on higher time frames rejects from the 9 EMA and the 200 EMA, because the blue EMA for us is the 9 EMA. The orange EMA or the orange, actually, yeah, the orange EMA or orange line is our 200 EMA. So you can always catch trades from this zone. But for me right now, since my perfect sell zone or price is away from my perfect sell zone for now, we have a 15-minute bullish low here. So definitely we are bullish on US 30 right now. We're bullish on US 30. We're bullish on gold. Well, we're 50-50 on gold, but we're bullish on US 30 and we're bullish on EU. Now, the only entry we have right now for a buy on US 30 is the 15-minute bullish low and bullish high. But remember, I do not trade 15-minute bullish zones or bullish and bearish zones by themselves. So to trade this, I would have wanted to see an hourly bullish low like next to it, or a previous daily high, daily low. So right now, even though US 30 is bullish, so any buy I would take here, then I need to find another confluence to take this buy. So go to the 1 minute, find a trend line. So we don't have an established high or low anywhere here. But so I need an established high or low to even try to draw a trend line. So I don't see anything that tells me. So I would need this high low. So I see a high low being established here. So if this gets established, we can draw a trend line, floating trend line or a hanging trend line to maybe this zone or this zone here. But right now, even on the 1 minute, I don't see any other thing that helps me use this bullish low by itself. The next sell on US 30, I don't recommend selling here. I don't recommend selling here. Again, we are heavily bullish on US 30. So, and these zones are so small. It's 32 to 30 to 250. This is a 20 pip zone. You can get stopped out by one 1 minute candle. And I'm pretty sure this is like a 40 pip zone. So if US 30 breaks here, we don't have anything stopping US 30 from shooting all the way up. So right now, and on the hourly, price closed above the 9 EMA. So let's see, EU is closing. Okay, there you go. Look at that. We just missed getting tapped in, but that's fine. But you guys can see how the alert works, right? So this
I
whole
was gonna
time,
tell you we just missed it too. I think you've seen it.
yeah, it got so with this entries, since this is a 10 pip zone, it's very small of a zone given how FX pairs move. So you can, if I give these zones on EU, you can either plus or minus 5 pips. So this one, if you minus 5 pips, because our sell was 73.40, 42. So minus this would be 7,300. Yeah, so you could have, okay, yeah, so you can do that. If I give an EU zone, and I'm talking, and let's say we've identified a 10 pip zone. If I give you an entry, you can set your order plus or minus 5 or 4 pips. But don't worry, I still see price coming back up here because this is a zone. This is an hourly zone. So price can do this and then cross back above, come and tap in. And then, but this is what we want to see. We want to see some rejection as price is coming to our entry zone. So, I mean, that's fine. Personally, I'm still going to leave it at 73.42. Let's see. Yeah, so if US 30, so US 30 on the hourly, it's above the 9 EMA. Yes, so I need on the 1 minute to find an entry to allow us to use this bullish high and bullish low. But the only thing we have is a low. So I need this or this or this to be established as a high low so that at least we can find something to draw the trend line with. Because right now, it's definitely bullish, but I don't have, I haven't had good success using the bullish lows. I'm sorry, the 15-minute zones by themselves and the 30-minute zones by themselves. But either way, you should be up in profit for the day, so no need to force any trade. You should have been up in profit. Either you closed at 20 pips, and for me, when I set these trades, like for this one, I didn't say use a fill a lot. Remember, the only time we use fill a lot sizes is if we have a zone and we've broken it into 3, or what times? Yeah, I don't think when I'm live trading US 30, I say I feel a lot size unless I have a like an hourly bearish high and bearish low, and then we've divided it into 3, because the times we use a feel a lot size is if we are setting pending orders. But the worst I'll do is actually not the worst for US
Or if
30.
you counter trend trading too, right?
Or counter trending, or if I'm trading like this candles, that like the bullish hammer candles, I'll say instead of 50, because ideally our take profit on US 30 is 50 pips, stop loss is 50 pips. But if I say for this one use 20 pips, then that is my version of like a filler trade. Like I will use a bigger lot size, or I'll use a standard lot size, but then instead of going for 50 pips, I'll go for 20 pips, right? So that is, yeah, so either counter trend or when we have, we are setting pending orders, that's when I'll say I'm using a filler lot size. But when I'm using a standard lot size and it's actually a risky trade, I'll say go for 20 pips. Because ideally our strategy, we go for 50 pips and we ideally normally hit profit or hit break even. But I'll say, hey, for this trade, go for 20 pips. Yeah, so right now, let's go to the 1 minute again, nothing. So nothing has been established as a higher low. So nothing on US 30 gold. And last week I did say that gold will present us with amazing opportunities next this week. So keep an eye out on So I still see gold trending up to like this 2050 area. So the best sell on gold is around 2070, 2070. The next best one before that is 2045 to 2050. But you know, we are definitely gonna get some good sell entries on gold. See EU. Yeah, and you see EU is coming back up. So I still look for us to get tapped into EU here. Okay.
This is a question. So if you do the filler trade, like let's say that EU trade fills in and it goes in profit, when do you add to the fill lot? Like when do you decide, okay, let me add to the fill lot?
So for me, how I want price to do, or what I expect price to do, or what I would like to see is price to either come tap us in, go like a little bit. So I guess the question is like, when do we get out, or when do we take profit? So for me, I look at, okay, so first I need to see what price is doing in here, right? When I'm tapped in. If price goes heavily against me, like I'm gonna cancel my other pending orders. But if price comes here, I get a rejection. I'm looking to exit ideally at, so I know here we've set like a 50 pip take profit. So for me, I look to exit at around, I use monetary value. So between 300 profit and 500 profit for the filler trade. So
So
whatever
so
that is for you.
what I'm saying is I know that's a filler trade, but
Mhm.
when do you add to the filler trade? Like you use bigger lot sizes. Like when do you decide like during the trade if you want to add to it?
If I want to add to it, okay, so is that when the trade is in profit or when the trade is going against me?
You tell me when is the best time that you would add more into the more lots into the trade.
So I would just wait for price to come here, like, right? Because we always divide the zone into three. So that is what tells me. So this is number one is a filler trade. Number two is a trade bigger than the filler trade. Number three is the biggest lot size. So what tells me when to add is the price. Like here, here, here. So if this was off the live session, personally, I would have this trade set up and this trade set up. But because this is like a 10 pip zone, I would only have, instead of 3 trades set up, I would have one trade here and the other trade at the top here. So I would set maybe like a 2. So for me, the filler trade on EU, like 2 lots on a 200K account. Here, I would have a 4 lot pending sales waiting. So for me, what tells me when to add a lot size is the price point, because I've already identified my entry zones. That's it. If I'm off the live session, I just set them. I don't look at the charts. Whatever happens, happens. But the beauty about price coming back up here during the live session is we are in front of the charts. So if price just comes up here and we have one sell order set up and price keeps trending up, I'm going to tell you guys, go ahead and delete this. So that's the beauty about being on the live session or in front of the charts while these trades are running up. But if you're off the charts, for me, honestly, I identify the price points 1.07342, 7389, 7347. I set a pending sell here, pending sell there, pending sell here, and then that's it. I just let it ride, if that makes sense. But if I'm on the live session, if I see the price is going heavily against me on the first filler sell, then you know what I'll do? I'll delete the other filler, I'll delete the other pending orders in that direction, and then I'll wait for price to close. So in this case, since we're looking for a sell, I will wait for price to close. So I'll wait for price. Price can keep going all the way up in this zone, but then I'll wait for price to close below the 9 EMA on the 5 minute and retest the 9 EMA and close below. And the best thing that can happen is when price is around this area, and then I'll then enter a sell. That's if I'm in front of the charts. But of course, if you set a pending order and you're not in front of the charts, you don't have that luxury of knowing if price is closing below the 9 EMA, unless now you start using alerts, which is what I've started doing this week. So US30 came to that sell zone. Again, this is too small of a sell zone. If anybody was looking at this, you could have caught some pips, but even on the 1 minute, price hasn't closed below the 9 EMA. So you could have made some money, but I've seen this go south. I've seen price just bust through. So I'm only looking for good quality entries, but you can see price rejected from that zone. So in any case, I would be looking to enter a sell here because here we have the Friday high, we have Monday high, and we have the previous weekly high. Ignore the weekly high here because this is from last week. So I only adjust the weekly high and weekly low on Tuesday or Wednesday so as to give price a little bit of leeway to move up. So ignore this weekly high that's around here, but we do have Friday high, last Monday highs, and then the previous weekly high. So remember, personally on my chart, I always have weekly high, weekly open, weekly low. I'm sorry, let me start with the previous week. Previous weekly high, previous weekly low, previous weekly open. And on the current week, I have a weekly open. I only do the weekly high and weekly low like on Tuesday or Wednesday in order to give price some room to breathe. Because if I set it today, I'm going to keep pushing it up or down. I see, give me a second. Okay, let price just do what it's doing. Then I have a Monday high and Monday low. Monday open is gonna coincide with weekly open, so you don't have to have a Monday open. And then I started testing out a Friday high and Friday low because Friday is ideally a manipulation day, and Friday highs and Friday lows have been helping us catch trades. So whether you want to do those markups or not, those are the markups that, in addition to the, and also I have a previous daily high and previous daily low. For me, the previous daily high, like tomorrow is Tuesday, so I won't have a previous daily high tomorrow. I'll have a Monday high and Monday low. So the previous daily high for me starts taking effect on Wednesday, so that I can have my Monday high and Monday low because I don't want to get rid of those two. And then on Tuesday, right, if it's Wednesday, Tuesday will be previous daily high and previous daily low, if that makes sense. So for me, Monday high, Monday low, Friday high and Friday low are static levels. They do not align with my previous daily high or previous daily low, if that makes sense. So what I'm seeing here on the hourly, price closed below the 200 EMA on the 1 hour time frame. So I'm actually looking for this rejection right here. Looking for this rejection, and it's rejecting from this supply zone marked up here. So but this one would have to happen at like after the hourly close. So if we get, so this is tricky because the best entry would be if price closes below the 200 EMA on the hourly, and we get a retest, and then we can get a sell right here. So what I see here is this bullish high being used as a sell zone, but again, still no confirmation even on the 1 minute. So this is okay. Let's see how big of a zone this is. So this is 200, 250. So this is a 60 pip zone. So what I'm looking to do is use this bullish high as a sell zone. That is 32, 260, 32. So this is a 60 pip zone. Okay, so what I'll do, and this is just testing this one out. If I do this, I'll go for 20 pips. So I'm looking for a retest of the 9 EMA exactly, or a retest of the bullish high exactly. So this fits to like a counter trend. So come to the 1 minute. So this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one ideally wouldn't be like a lower high because it sets up after 5 candles, but that's the next high that's available. So I'm looking for a retest, and it actually happened there. This would have been the trade because I'm looking for a sell here. Yeah, that was the trade. It's fine. No need to FOMO in. 50. Now this one I can write for a bigger while, but if you get to 20 pip stop loss. Okay, so what I was looking for here is a retest of the, so we had a closure below the 9 EMA on the 1 minute. So I was looking either for a retest of the 9 EMA or a retest of the bullish high, because here, so I told you guys, price didn't close above the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. But then for us to wait for this hourly candle, because what I'm looking for this candle to now close below the 9 EMA, and this is on the hourly, and then retest the 9 EMA and reject to the downside. But that's 2 hours. You know, we're not on the live session for that long. So I said I was looking for this bullish high to be used as a bearish zone, which is what's happening. So I was looking for a retest of the 90. So closed below the 9 EMA on the 1 minute, retested the 9 EMA, closed below. So this was the setup, but I missed that. But the next best setup I'm looking for is a retest of the 15-minute bullish high. So I'll just leave that there and wait for price to come around that zone. So remember, I normally trade on the 5-minute, so this is fine. If price comes back up there, then I'll be looking for a sell entry on US30. Stop loss should be above this sales or supply zone right here so that you're protected by that. And I do see a trend line forming. So if price goes heavily bearish, that's fine. It's better to miss a zone. It's better to miss a trade than go ahead and force one trade. Yeah, so for EU, still nothing, but this is what I want to see if I'm looking for a sell. I want to see some rejection to the downside. Yeah, US30 is the only trade that I see, and this is not a pending trade or a pending order. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so this cannot be a low, a lower high, or a lower low. So I still see price coming back up, establishing a lower, what is that? A lower high around this trend line area. So I still, you can see price is still coming back up. But then you can see where price is rejecting from the 15-minute bullish low. See, US30 is ideally still bullish. I'm waiting on the 5-minute, so no worries on that. So we're still bullish on the 5-minute, but you can see prices at least coming back towards the 9 EMA. And we've had, this is the first bearish candle in this push up here. So this is a bearish candle, this is a bearish candle. So remember, even in our counter trends, we need like 2. So if we're trying to catch a sell in an uptrend, we need like 2 bearish candles within that trend. So maybe this will be the second bearish candle. So that's fine. Gold is dropping. So we didn't have any sell on gold. But personally, I made money from gold yesterday during market open. So, but you can see we're in this sell zone right here. And if you guys see this area, so you can see we are in like a supply. So this dark red is a supply zone within a supply zone. So if you see this zone, you can always ask me, what's this zone? Like, you know, what's that zone, so that I give you guys those values. Because personally, I'm not looking for any entry on gold. I already made a killing on gold yesterday. But, you know, if you're trading this and you see this on the live session, so remember how we trade these zones: top, middle, bottom. You can ask, what's the middle of this zone? What's the bottom of this zone? This is a 130 to 160. Yeah. If anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and ask. Let me look at the chat. Sometimes do you use bank zones for entries? I don't know. I know, Michael, you asked that. I don't know what bank zones are. Do you mean like smart money zones, or like, I don't know what you mean by bank zones, but if you can unmute yourself and ask that, or clarify what you mean by, do I use bank zones for entries?
That the same thing as order blocks?
Yes. So this bearish highs and bearish lows, ideally, yes, they're order block areas. But I draw them manually. You can use, so I have this, I think I've gone over this with you guys. So I have this, you can use the smart money concepts indicator as well. it's gonna be near similar to what I draw, but for me, my order blocks are subjective. So let's see, like on the daily, if you're drawing, let's see if this shows anything. Okay, like for example, let me turn this off. No, it doesn't even have anything really on the daily. Let me try the 4 hour. If you don't already know how to draw them manually, you can. Okay, so you see, like, but for this one, for me, this is a bullish high and bullish low. But for if you're using the SMC indicator, this would be a bearish high and bearish low. And this is on the 4 hours. So for me, I advise people to learn how to draw them manually. So there's a ton of YouTube tutorials on how to identify and draw any order blocks. Yeah, but if you're still learning, you can use the Smart Money Concepts indicator by Lux Algo, and that can help you. But for me, for any time frame, I only have 2 bearish highs and 2 bearish lows. So I don't have like 2 4-hour bullish highs on any chart. I only have 1 4-hour bullish high, 1 bullish low, 1 bearish high, and 1 bearish low. But if you, for example, use this Smart Money, you'll have like 3 bullish highs for any given chart. So you just have to, it's better to learn how to do it manually. It definitely takes time. So when I start doing these markups, I start at like 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then by the time I'm finishing, it's like 8:15 a.m. So because I do US 30 gold and EU. But it's definitely come after years and years of practice. Okay, so this hanging trend line is still being respected. So then what I see here is this here being established as a lower high. So if that's the case, then maybe this trend line will hold. So let me see on my chart. Is that live? Okay, yeah, we definitely also have high time frame trend lines here. So because I'm looking at my MT4, and you guys know that I draw more trend lines on my MT4. So personally, I'm riding this. Ideally, I want this stop loss to be above this high, right? Because this, so remember the optimum sell is the 15-minute bullish high. But looking also at my MT4, I see other trend lines that are keeping price down here. So I entered this sell. This one is, I did a 15 lot on this. So I have a 50 point, 50 pip stop loss, 50 pip take profit. But then we have this bullish low right here. So the worst thing about this trade is this 15-minute bullish low where price can come and reject heavily on. So if you're in this trade, you can push your stop loss above this previous higher high, or you can just hold it. For me, I'm just holding it. I'm in profit 20 pips. So if you're 20 pips in any of my trades, set break even. So this trade should be break even right there. So 15, I think I'm gonna hit the 50 pip stop loss. I'm sorry, a 50 pip take profit. So I'm not gonna, for me, I'm just gonna leave it and let it ride. And it should hit 50 pips right about now. But you can see here, right, it's rejecting from this structural area. So on my phone, I might have to close this manually. Let's see. So I'm still at 20 pips profit. But again, my bias is a sell. So I'm holding that. But if you're in this trade, you should set break even in order to protect yourself. But for me, so I wouldn't be drawing this. I wouldn't be redrawing the trend lines I have on my MT4 on TradingView, because remember, it's your prerogative as people who are trying to learn these strategies to do it by yourselves. Because I've noticed when I try to draw what I have on my MT4, we normally miss trades, and just, we just waste some time. So these trend lines that I draw on TradingView, I have trend lines on my MT4, and I do not delete my MT4 trend lines. So on my MT4 right now, I do see trend lines that I drew a while back, and they're keeping price down on the 5 minutes. So that's why I'm comfortable holding this. So the 9 EMA is being held here. So this might be the candle that breaks and closes below the 9 EMA. And there you go. And I think I hit take profit on that trade, maybe. Yep. So I hit take profit for 50 pips. I'm heavy up for the day today. So not sure if I'm trying to catch anything else that's risky, but this is the first time in this trade right here. So we took 2 trades on US 30 today. Both of them hit profit. The first one hit profit for 20 pips. If you held it for the 50 pips we normally take, you would have been up heavily in profit. This other sell. So the reason I took that sell, so remember our optimum sell, and there you go, it got established as a lower high. So with this hanging trend line, remember our optimum sell was up here, right? But then since this was a hanging trend line, I said this, so this is the higher high, lower low strategy indicator. So if you guys, the people who are recently joining the live sessions, just ask any question, because I know maybe you guys could have missed what indicators we use. The indicators we use
I
are
got it
free.
after it hit the 9, got under the 9 EMA. I did like 30 pips. So 10
There you go.
lots, like
There,
400 change.
Yeah, right. See, everybody is out here making money, right? But so what I came back here, so our optimum, I did say that, and this is why I don't trade 15-minute and 30-minute zones if they don't have any other zones around them. So what I did, I drew a trend line. This higher high, lower low strategy indicator is a free indicator that you can get on TradingView. So higher high, lower low strategy, this one right here with source code. You don't have to change anything. The only thing I changed there is change bar color in case you don't want your bars to be changed. The color, don't change any values in there. You can check. So this means like left bars, it means that a zone, which means a structural area like a high, high, lower, low, lower, high, will be established after 5 candles to the right or to the left. Now, if you want this to be established after 3 candles, go ahead and change that. But personally, I do not. So the reason I entered this trade, remember, I'm bearish on US 30. I saw on this hourly, price did not close below the 200 EMA. So I expected price to come back down. It's aligning with my bearish strategy for US 30. I went on the 5 minute. So I normally trade on the 5 minute. I'm sorry, let me change this back to the hourly. So I normally trade on the 5 minute. So I came to the 5 minute. Again, so I drew a trend line, right? We have this supply zone up here. So so this has not yet been established as a higher high. So I'm expecting this to be established as a higher high. But no, it has not. So what I did, came to the 1 minute, found that that got established as a higher high on the 1 minute. So on the 1 minute, what I'm looking for, if I'm looking to sell, is establishment of a lower high. So this wouldn't have been established. So this, we call it a hanging trend line, because ideally the trend line, always draw your trend line from a higher high, from an established, not from a higher high, from an established zone. So from an established higher high, lower low, high low, or whatnot. So that's why I did not draw this trend line on a 5 minute, because this has not been established as a higher high on 5 minutes. So I came to the 1 minute, found the higher high, drew the trend line. Ideally, you want the trend line to touch 2 established structural areas. So this is why I call this a hanging trend line, because I just touched it on this other, what I saw as a lower high. But remember, this indicator right now, it's only configured, or for me, it's configured to establish these zones after 5 candles. So when I count, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is now going to be established. But I use that, and then it's a hanging trend line for me. I just let it hang, right? And then what I did say that I don't trade 15-minute bullish, 15-minute zones by themselves. So ideally, I said I've seen the 15-minute zones or bullish zones, actually not just 15-minute. I've even seen this on the hourly. So I've seen bullish zones being used as bearish zones. So ideally, we were expecting to catch the sell here, but this is above the trend line. Not to say it couldn't have come to get filled in. So what I saw here, came on the 5 minute, saw that price is trending up. So this was that first 5 minute bearish candle. And then I saw this, this is ideally what gave me an additional confluence, right? Because ideally our entry was right there. So our entries are ideally from markups, from bearish high, from bearish lows, or from the retest of a trend line, or from the retest of the 9 EMA. So what I saw here, this candle retested the trend line and then came back down. And then the next candle closed below the 9 EMA. And that's on the 1 minute, right? So that's when I entered that sell. So ideally, the major confluence for me here was this respect of the trend line. So I was looking for this to, so this one had not yet been established as a lower high. So I was looking for this one to be ideally respected as a lower high, because for my entries, for you guys who've seen them, most of our trades are no drawdown. So when I see an exact retest of a zone of our trend line, that gives me an additional confluence. And that's when I saw this, waited for price to close below the 9 EMA on the 1 minute, and then entered that particular sell. But anyway, long story short, so this is what we want to see if price is to go down. Again, this is on the 1 minute. We don't trade on the 1 minute. We only use 1 minute chart to look for exact entries during the trading period or the live session. So there you go. This one has been established as a higher high. So what we need is to see whether this trend line will get respected. So remember, we drew this trend line on the 1 minute, but that's ideally just so that we cannot miss a trade. So remember, every candle is money you can make. So right now on the 5 minute, I'm considering this trend line as a hanging trend line. Now, if I do see a higher high possibly getting established, then I'll move this trend line to, let's say, here. So if price rejects down from here, I'll move this trend line here and then wait for any confirmations to see if this is going to get respected. But until we get some confluence that this will hold as a lower high, right now we are just leaving this trend line as is right there. So for me, the trend lines, I always draw them on the 5 minute, like on my MT4. The ones I draw on the 1 minute is when we are looking for price to reject from a structural area. So here, I was looking for price to reject from this 15-minute bullish high. So that's why I came down here. So ideally, any trend line, just though for any of my strategies, the beginning of any trend line that has not been established on the 5 minute, it will always be a hanging trend line. For me, for a trend line now to stick so that I don't have to keep shifting it, it has to be on the 5 minute, and it has to originate from a structural area, so from a higher high. And then in this case, this for me would have to be a lower high. So for me, for this trend line to stick for the rest of the day, I need a lower high to be created on the 5 minute, if that makes sense. Because I know it can be confusing, like drawing on the 5 minute and then coming back to the 1 minute. But for me, long story short, I draw trend lines on the 5 minute. A trend line has to originate from a structural area, and then it has to touch another structural area. That's it on the 5 minute. Gold, nothing. So gold, we have a demand zone on gold right here, and price is rejecting from that demand zone. Now here, what I see, I'm still bullish on gold personally. On the hourly, if you guys can see this, I see a possible head and shoulders. So we have a head here, left shoulder here, and we have a possible head, possible right shoulder that can be formed. So if we go on the hourly chart, we have a possible head that can be, right shoulder that can be formed around 1988, because this is what I see right here, right? So we have this left shoulder. This is the neckline. We have a price comes to the head right there, comes down to the neckline. So I do see this rejection here forming a right shoulder, and price coming back down there. So remember, price does not have to go all the way to 2050 immediately, but definitely on the hourly, we have a possible head and shoulders. Now, what I see here, we have a demand zone here. So price can shoot up here. We have a 30-minute bullish low and 30-minute bullish high. So we have a possible buy zone here. And for me, what I see drawing this is that And just ignore the colors, like as I said last time, ignore the colors, ignore the lines that are not around where price is. So for this one, because it's ideally all in red, it means this is a heavy sell zone. So what I see here is price rejecting to the upside, but we need an entry. Look at where the 9 EMA is. So for here, we need price to get into a buy, right? Look at what, if this is to hold as a buy zone or as a demand zone, we need price to reject up, and look at what's going to happen. If price rejects up and closes above the 9 EMA, guess where the 9 EMA, guess where price will be at that time? It will be at this 30-minute bullish high, bullish low. Again, I don't trade 30-minute and 15-minute zones by themselves, but we do have also a 15-minute bullish low here. So we have a 30-minute and 15-minute. It's better than nothing, but to get into this buy right here, no need to chase the buy down here. To get into this buy right here, which would be the best buy to go and create this right shoulder and then sell back down, we need price then to close above the 9 EMA on the 5-minute. And to me, that will align with this 30-minute bullish zone right here. And that should give liquidity to go to the top. So right now, until price closes above the 9 EMA on the 5-minute for gold, I'm not looking for any opportunities for gold. So let price keep going up on US 30. But either way, if you've met your daily goal, no need to do anything, or no need to risk anything more. If you met your daily goal and you want to keep trading, just go ahead and use small lot sizes. So today we are up 70 pips from US 30. If the first trade you did 50 pips, you should be up 100 pips on gold, and that is a lot of money if you're trading US 30. So yeah, so for gold, I think I have the alert set on gold. Yeah, so we'll get that alert if gold crosses above the 9 EMA. So gold, if anybody has any questions regarding any strategies, go ahead and ask them. Because right now price is just trending, right? So we had this break to the downside, break back up to the upside. So what will define where US 30 will go is this hourly candle right here. Because the previous hourly candle was held by the 200 EMA and closed below the 200 EMA. So if this candle closes above the 200 EMA, US 30 might keep pushing. Oh, not even say might. We'll keep pushing up to this 32,320 zone. And that is the last possible sell for a US 30. If price breaks above, and you can see that zone, if price breaks above that zone for US 30, there's nothing stopping price from coming back down for US 30. So I'm still bearish on US 30, but this is the last saving grace for US 30 for any sells. If price goes above here, it's ideally bye-bye for US 30. Yeah, so if anybody has any questions, go ahead and ask that. But yeah, so we've had 2 wins already. So starting off the trading week with 2 wins. Gold, we need gold to close above the 9 EMA on the 5-minute for any buy. So I'm still bullish on gold. I've given my reasons why this whole past week, and ideally, I think I started, when did we start recording these sessions? Like a week and a half ago. So I was always bullish on gold since 1812 area. So if I was actually even a smarter trader, I would have rode this price all the way back up. But personally, I'm not a swing trader. I am a scalper. I'm an intraday trader. But you can use my analysis to, even for swing traders, you can use my analysis to trade. Let's see what's going on the 1-minute. All right, so rejecting around the 15-minute bullish. So this is what I want to see for confirmation of a sell. I don't want this bullish high to be broken, because if this bullish high gets broken, they'll find liquidity to pop price up and test this area heavily. And if this area gets broken, yeah, that's not good for US 30. I mean, if you're looking for a buy, perfect, but okay, so let's see that scenario, right? So if price gets broken up above here, I just need this trend line on the 5-minute to be confirmed. I need a lower high to be established, because if we get a lower high here, then we can move this trend line to that direction. And then if price closes above this trend line and we get a retest of the trend line and closure above the 15-minute bullish high, we can ride price up. At that point, we can ride price up and trail it because we expect that if price comes back in here, they're going to break this zone, or they're going to attempt to break this zone. So if they keep breaking this zone, the next hold up is so ignore this previous daily high. So the next hold up will be here. So if this gets established as a lower high, that is perfect. That is perfect for us, whether it's for sales, whether it's for buys. Because if it's for buys, what will happen if this gets established as a lower high? Now we'll have not a hanging trend line, we'll have an established trend line. Now, and we can see that they're trying to push price up. I don't know if you can see that price is being held by the 9 EMA on the 5-minute. On the 1 hour, it's being held by the 200 EMA. That's where the 200 EMA is. So actually, I do see this getting set up as a lower high because the 200 EMA lines up with this trend line. So what will happen, or what can happen for buys, if this gets established as a lower low, or lower high, I'm sorry, it's a lower high. If it gets established as a lower high, price, if they're going to take price up, they're going to break past this trend line and then retest the trend line and close above the bullish high. So in that instance, we can look for a buy around here and then ride price up to this sell zone. So this is the last saving. So there's no need for us to waste all this space right here. So let me just leave this sell here hanging. So ideally, again, 50-50, but for this one, if we get that entry, you can trail it to the top. But we need this to take this buy. We need this zone to get established as a lower high. Without that, there's no need of looking for this buy. Let's see. And we definitely have, so always draw these trend lines on your, once they're established, always draw them on your MT4. I don't like drawing them on my trading view because as you can see, I have enough lines as, you know, as is. So I don't want to have horizontal lines, diagonal lines. So for me, my trend lines are normally on my MT4, and on my MT4, I can already, I think I can show you guys this. I know I've done this before. I'll just take like a screenshot and just show you. So since we are still waiting on price to do its thing right now, what I'll do, I'll share this with you guys. So you guys can see my snipping tool, right? So you can see I do not delete my trend lines, but look at what's happening. So this is where price is at right now. It's being held by that trend line that I drew. I think maybe this was 2 or 3 weeks ago. So price is being held by that. Look, this trend line right here, I drew God knows how far back. Price is rejecting exactly from my trend lines, closing above, retesting that trend line. You know, I can go on and on. Look at this trend line that I drew way, you know, these are not trend lines that I drew just now. So this trend line was rejecting here, here, here. And then guess what? It came and rejected here. I guess this was London during London session, and price went up. This is the trend line. I believe this one we drew on, no, this is Asia session. So this is not the Friday trend line. This is the one from last week, right? So for the guys who are here on the live session, last week we had 2 trend lines. We had one trend, this one channel trending to the downside, and this other one. And then I did say for any buys on US 30, wait for price to break. So these were descending channels. Wait for price to break out of the first channel to look for buys. Look at that, price broke out of that. And then here, price broke out of the other wider channel. And that was a possible buy, but this was during market open. But you guys can see how not deleting trend lines can help you. And for me, the way I use trend lines, I use trend lines also to recover any losses that I have. So here, if we were, let's say I sold US 30 here, and then I got stopped out by this candle right here, I would wait for price to retest. And I knew that US 30 was coming down. I would wait for price to retest this trend line and just hop in on impulse for a sell, and then I would catch my profit back. I think we did that, one of those trades on Friday, because we got stopped out on US 30. and then we caught that a buy on US30 to recover the loss we had. But ideally that is how my MT4 looks. If you zoom in, so right now I've just zoomed out, so I normally don't see these lines when I'm trading. So because I normally zoom in, and when I zoom in, ideally when you zoom in, you're only seeing the lines that are ideally next to what you're trading. So this is fine. I want an established lower high to form here, and you can see that this trend line is being, oh, wait, let me reshare that. I forgot that I wasn't sharing that. Share back that screen. I think it's this one. All right, hopefully I'm sharing the right screen. Yeah, so once you draw them on your MT4, don't worry about the lines, because ideally just you'll be trading in a very small zone. So the time you'll see those trend lines will be much later when price comes around those areas. So I need this to be established as a lower high for any other possible sell. Let's see what's going on the 1 minute. You can see, right? So initially we had this trend line from here to here, and that trend line allowed us to catch the sell. And then guess what? We changed this trend line to be a hanging trend line on the 5 minute. Price just closed below the 9 EMA. That's fine. On the 5 minute to be a hanging trend line, and guess what? Even on the 1 minute, they're respecting that. So here we just need some good patience right here. So price just closed below the 9 EMA. That's perfect. I do see a potential sell. This will be, I would consider it a risky sell, but I see a potential sell on the against the trend line. So for this sell, and price is going for, because ideally for me, I need a stop loss to be above this zone. I do see a potential sell when price tests the trend line, because we've had a test, break to the downside, retest, and break to the downside. Since I'm up well enough for the day, if price retests the trend line, I'll get in for a sell, and that will be an impulse sell. But if you've already met your target for the day, again, we've had a 70 pip win on US30, 100 pips if you went for the 50 pips on the first trade. So if you do enter this trade with me, do not use a big lot size. Personally, I can, because I know where I can recover from. But if you don't already know where to recover from, no need to do that. And if this candle closes below the 9 EMA, even better. So it's either a retest of the trend line or closure below the 9 EMA. So whichever comes first. So make sure you can survive a 50 pip stop loss without hurting your profits for the day. Again, we're already up for the day, no risk, no need to risk. But I do see prices being held by one of those trend lines I showed you guys in my MT4. So we have 2 minutes for this candle to close on the 5 minute. On the 1 minute, let's see what's going on. All right, so that's what I want to see. But ideally, I want a retest of the trend line itself. And also keep in mind where price currently is. Price is above the 15-minute bullish low. So this can ideally easily go heavily up. So the best thing, so I said either a retest of the 9 EMA or closure below the 9 EMA, because especially closure below the 9 EMA and closure below the 15-minute bullish low, I do see a strong pump to the downside, because that ideally will, whenever price is down this bullish zone, it's better for me to sell whenever price is below a bullish zone, as instead of literally above the bullish zone. So if this 5 minute candle, even though it closes below the 9 EMA and closes literally above this 15-minute bullish low, I'm not going to take that sell. I'll only take this sell if price retests this trend line, or price closes below the 15-minute bullish low, because if it closes exactly at the 15-minute bullish low, they can spike that thing all the way up. So it's ideally reading these zones and seeing what price can do around that area. So for me, this is the best entry. And this is what I really want, because even though I get this entry down here, look at where my stop loss is just literally above the trend line. They can come up, stop me out, and break back down. So I really would prefer this trade right here, a retest of that trend line. So let's see what we get. See, no need to chase gold, but you can see this demand zone is holding. But I need a closure above the 9 EMA to buy gold. Let's see, this candle is 167. It's a 20 pip. I was hoping to get an inverted bearish candle, or bearish hammer. But for me, the wick has to be 30 pips and above. This wick is only 20 pips. There you go. That's what I want to see. I want to see closure. I want to see closure below the 15 minute bullish low. So we have 4 seconds right there. Let's see how it closes. Okay. So I'm in that sell. I think it went through. Oh, don't tell me I hit a buy. Just a second. I should be. Yeah. So I'm in that sell for US 30. Let's see. I'm up. Now that there's one time on the live session I hit I think a buy instead of a sell. So it's ideally around break even. There's a gap to the downside. So remember, if you entered this trade, no need to risk. You shouldn't have been risking the profits we made. But price can come up, retest this trend line. And personally, if it comes up and retests this trend line, I'll get in for an impulse and then ride price back down. But so long as price is away from the trend line, I'm just gonna let this trade ride. And that's perfect right there, being held by the 9 EMA. Now on this 5 minute, what we also don't want to happen is this candle to close above the 9 EMA, above the 15-minute bullish low. We do not want that. We want price to keep getting being held down by the 9 EMA and closing below this zone right here. So remember, this is a 15-minute bullish low. You know that saying of buying low and selling high. That's why I said for this trade, use a small lot size. Do not risk today's profits. All right, perfect. Gold, EU. So right now it's only US 30. So here, if this 5-minute candle closes above the 9 EMA and above the 15-minute bullish low, go ahead and reanalyze that trade if needed. But here we have the saving grace of this trend line. Waiting, I look for one of these two to be established as a lower high, possibly this one. So if that's the case, then we should be golden for this trade. No need to panic for it. So this is still a hanging trend line. Even on the 1 minute, ideally, yes, we don't have a lower high. So this is just a higher high. Let me go to the 5 minute. Okay, perfect. Let's see. So look at that trend line. There you go. Need this trend line to hold. And we have 48 seconds and see where price is. So if you can, if you're able to risk this, go ahead and keep it. But we ideally don't want this candle to close above the 9 EMA and above the 15-minute bullish low. And the worst thing is also closing above that trend line. So I'm out of that with stop loss. I only had a 15 lot. I didn't lose too much. So that's fine for me. So remember, these zones, they can always use them like what we talked about. They can break above, retest, and go back up. So that's fine. I'm still monitoring these trend lines that I have on my MT4. And I'm still watching what happens to this trend line. So 2 wins for 70 pips, 1 win for 50 pips. So you should only be down, you should be up 20 pips if you use the standard lot size in all of those trades. But for this trade, I did say use a small lot size that can enable you to survive this without risking most of your daily profits. And I'm still watching this trend line right here. So remember, I did say that I trade this trend lines to recover price. So I'm watching what happens at this particular trend line, because I can use that to easily get back what I lost. So until price closes above here, I'm sorry, closes below here for a possible sell. If this retests and closes above, yes, then that one we can catch that buy to ride price back up to either here or here. But this trend line is still in play for me. And I can use that to recover my losses or that one loss for that trade. All right, there you go. So what I said, gold can reject up from here, need closure above the 9 EMA. And then I did say that this 9 EMA, it will align with this 30-minute bullish low. And given that EU, gold, and US 30 ideally move similar, so it might be time to change the bias, because it looks like this hourly candle will close above the 200 EMA. So the 200 EMA is literally right there at the top of this candle, and we have 8 minutes to the close of the hour. So, and I can see a trend to the upside even on my MT4. Let's see. Yeah, so I see a trend to the upside on my MT4. I need this candle to close, but you can see it's rejecting from the trend line, rejecting from the 9 EMA. The 200 EMA on the hourly is literally at the top of that candle. But again, here, I don't like trading 15-minute and 30-minute zones by themselves. That's the only issue with any buy here, because you can get a lot of fake outs where price is. See, so we have a minute 35. We have 7 minutes to the close of the hour. Let's see. So if the 200 EMA is here, 195. So we have 100 pip wick on this hourly candle. The wick to the top is lower than that. Yeah. So I do see a push up for US 30. And you can see how they're holding price above here. So
would you be looking for another sell at that 4-hour bearish above it, that red zone?
yeah, so I'm looking to ride price up because I see price going up here to this 32,300, between 32,300, 32,300, 32,330 area. So I'm looking, I see price going up there. And the other thing, right, the 200 DMA on the 1 hour is right here, 193. So it is 30 pips away, and they're rejecting price from this 9 EMA. So right now, I was testing out a sell here, but I just closed it. But I do see price going up now. Because if you look at the hourly, let's delete this, whatever this is. Oh, that's that one trend line. So if we look at the hourly, the chart to my right, price closed. So gold just closed above the 9 EMA, which I'm pretty sure lines up with a 30-minute bullish low. Let's see. So for me, for gold, I'll do a filler, just a small buy, but that's just on me. So I'm not gonna count that. I'm just testing. Actually, I'm not doing a filler, so I'm just going to buy gold as, but I'm using this particular entry, but I need another retest. So I'm looking to buy around here. So you can see like what we talked about. We say that it would close above the 9 EMA and that would align with this 30-minute bullish low. So I will set a pending buy here. So around 1972.38. So I'll set a pending buy right there. So in case price wants to come back down here, there's no need for me to risk this whole thing. So I would rather set a pending buy above there so that I can get a good entry. But you can see price closed above the 9 EMA on the 5-minute for the first time in a while, and closed above the 30-minute bullish low. Did this candle just close on the 5-minute? I know we deleted that trend line. Let's see. Wait. So we deleted that trend line. I hopped in a buy for US 30. Let me see if I can redraw it. I think that was it, right? Give me a second. Let me do this. Z. There it is. All right, so the 200 DMA here is reset chart. All right, so for me, so this trade hit stop loss. I'll send that out in the group as well. I hopped into a buy here. I think I got in a little late. So this should be 50. So this one, I am using a bigger lot size. I'm trying to recover that one trade. And I think I hopped in later. I'm sorry, I was analyzing that one trade for gold. Because consider the 200 DMA on the 1 hour is here. So if they're trying to ride this thing up or push this thing up, because this lines up with the gold buy, EU is still going up. So remember, these three assets normally trade the same. So I see them bringing price back up here, testing this zone, and I see them breaking this zone and going up to 32,300. So that is my next sell on US 30. So for that one trade, I am up 10 pips. So I got in a little late. So this was the best entry. I think if I'm up 10 pips or 20 pips, the entry should have been here. Yeah, so my entry is around here. But this was the best entry at the 9 EMA. But I'm only looking to recover the loss that we took on that one trade. So I took a 50 pip loss with a smaller lot size. So I'm using a bigger lot size on this trade. So it should only take me like 25 pips to recover. All right. And this is, so this for me is a pending order for gold. All right, for US 30, I'll close this out. I recovered what I lost and more. There you go. So this trade should be up 20 pips in profit. If you're still in the trade and you used a bigger lot size, you should have recovered the loss we took. So this is always start with your standard lot size should be a small lot size, right? So your standard, and especially for this one, I did say that since we were already up like 70 pips for the day, like back-to-back wins, there's no need for you to use a standard lot size on this trade, right? So for that trade, I did say use a smaller lot size so that you're not risking all of your profits. So if you did re-enter this buy with me, so we missed the optimal. So the optimal buy was down here on the retest of the trend line or the 9 EMA, because I did say that I'd be looking to enter that. But then I was analyzing gold, so we missed the perfect entry. But right now, since the trade has been up 20 pips in profit, it should be at break even. Or if you took this loss and want to recover and use the bigger lot size, you should have already recovered. Personally, I did close that trade because ideally I'm just looking. So this is still a pending order right there. EU is trading up to our entry zone, so that's fine. It's 11 right now. We normally stop trading at 11. We normally stop trading at 11. So for this, I do see US 30 going. So I'll set, let's see where price is likely to go for these assets. So here we have a supply zone up here. So we'll divide this zone into 3 and I'll send this in the Discord as pending orders. So we need to find a middle of this zone. So 32, I'll call it 300 to 32, 337, or I'll call it 340. So the middle of this zone will be 32, 320. Okay, so keep in mind, this is a 40 pip zone. For US 30, this can easily be taken out by, so I only recommend using 2 trades, setting 2 pending orders here. Now, if US 30 breaks these zones, it's bye-bye for US 30. So if you're in this trade, so I did say you can write this trade back up here. So if you're able to scale out little by little, I see price going all the way up here. So this is the last saving grace for US 30, like literally. There's no bearish zone above here. So this is the last. And again, I'm still bearish on US 30. But if US 30 breaks this, it is bye-bye for US 30. So this should allow you to go for 50 pips, stop loss 50 pips. This is perfect because your stop loss will be up there. Second trade is 32, 320, and there you go. Look at that spike up. So I don't know if anybody is still holding that trade. And it's gonna break this zone right here. It's gonna break through that zone. And I entered with a 50 lot down here. That would have been fun. But I'm already up here. So my goal, if I hit stop loss, my goal is to recover my loss. My goal is not to make. Now, if we did not hit stop loss on this trade, for this trade, I could have ridden it all the way up here and scaled out little by little. But for me, my goal is to, when I hit stop loss, my goal is to recover the loss. And then I reset and then find some other trade that I can ride higher. So that's the first sell. So if you're on the live session right now, the first, and it's almost 11. So we normally stop streaming at 11. The first pending sell for US 30, 32, 300 plus or minus 1 or 2 pips. The second sell should be, actually, the best sell, this is tricky. This is a 40 pip zone. The second sell is 32,320 plus or minus a few pips. So stop loss, our stop loss is normally 50 pips, take profit 50 pips. So 1:1 risk to reward. And always use proper risk management. So the first sell is a small lot size. The next sell is a bigger lot size than the small one. And the third one, now this is the third, between the second and the third sell, that's when you should be using your standard lot size. So the third sell for US 30 is 32. I'll call this 335. And I'll send this in the group, in the Discord. So that's what we expect US 30 to do. Gold, I buy at 1972.38. That is the pending buy. So I would call it 1932. That's a sell. 19 for this gold. I only recommend you just use one for gold. No need to enter too many. So 50 pips take profit, 50 pips stop loss. Actually, 50 pips might be large for this one. No, so this is that. Yeah, 50 pips. Yeah, yeah, this makes sense. So 50 pips stop loss, 50 pips take profit. I'm still bullish on gold. EU sells is, so I went over those on the live session. I'm not going to repeat them. I'll just send them on the Discord or in the Discord. So hope you guys had an amazing trading day today. We had 3 wins, 1 loss. The loss, you know, for us, the losses we've taken since we started streaming, they were ideally small lot sizes, or I did say to always use small lot sizes on any loss that we've taken. The recovery trades for me, I did tell you, I take bigger lot size on recovery trades. And I do expect, now I'm gonna go and draw my trend lines on US 30 on the 5-minute on, because on here I see this. So I'll draw this on my MT4 and I'm not gonna delete this. So I'll draw it there. So we still have a lot of upside on US 30. But yeah, I'll delete this. I don't draw trend lines on TradingView other than if they're just short term, because I don't want to confuse you guys. Does anybody have any question regarding anything that we went over today? Any wins that we took, any losses we took? Does anybody have any question?
Yeah, what standard lot size do you use for your 100K?
400K. Okay, so
Yeah,
how to use
100.
Okay, so for me, the trades that we take, even with a standard lot size, do not risk anything more than 0.5% per trade. So for that on 100K, 0.5 is $500. So that,
Okay.
so, and if we use a 50 pip stop loss, maybe a 10 lot. So for 100K, about a 10 lot, that's a standard lot size. For a filler trade, maybe use a 2 lot or 5 lot. Yeah, but so ideally it's between 5%, and that's being very conservative. So a lot of traders say risk no more than 1%. So
Right.
yeah, so you can do between 10 lots and 15 lots. That should be a standard lot for 100K. So today, if you used let's just use a 10 lot, right? So easy math. 10 lot for the first trade, you would have made $200 because I said to go for 20 pips. So $200. But if you went for a standard 500 or 50 pips profit, you should have made 500. But let's do what I did. So 20 pips, make 200. The next trade we hit take profit for 50 pips. That is 700 for the day, 500 plus 200. Now the next trade that we took the loss at, I said use a small lot size so that you do not risk majority of your profits for the day. So if you did use a 10 lot, you would have lost 500, right? But I did say and 500 is a majority because today's profits is 700. So you should have risked maybe 200 or out of the 700, so like a third, right? So a third is 200. What's 200 divided by 50? It's what, 40 lots?
4.
Yeah, no, 4 lots, right? So 4 lots, you lose 200, right? So you're still up 500 for the day. Remember, for a 100K account, you only need 500 a day to pass phase 1 in 2.5 weeks. So you're up 500. This lot size right here, I did say that I used a bigger lot size so that I recover the trades that I took. So I want to be up against 700 for the day. So for this lot size, you could have done, so for this lot size I used, personally, I did 50 lot. The last trade I did, I think I had a 15 lot. So this, let me look at my history. The one we lost, I used a 15 lot size. So I just needed to make about 700. So I used a 50 lot size and took profit at 10, at 15 pips. There you go. You could have done a 30 lot, double the fall. I'm sorry, you could have done a 10 lot. You could have now done a 10 lot and gone for 20 pips. So remember, my magic numbers are always 50 pips, 20 pips, right? Our standard take profit is 50 pips. Regardless, you can always ride any trade I give you guys for 50 pips. But if you're 20 pips in profit and you're recovering from a losing trade, either close your profit and then find another winning trade, or if you're starting off the day and that's your first trade, if you're 20 pips in profit, set break even. There you go. That is how we are surviving, not taking heavy lot sizes so far. So my magic numbers 50 and 20 for any given trade. Either take profit at 20 points, right? If you have already met your target for the day, or if you're recovering, or if it's your first trade of the day, set break even at 20 pips. That is it. Whether it's gold, whether it's EU, whether it's US 30, my magic numbers are always 50 and 20, 50 and 20. Yeah.
Gotcha. Good stuff. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it.
No worries, man. No worries. Anybody else have any other questions? Perfect. So for, we've been doing this. I think this is the second week and a half. If you've been taking any of these trades, you should have been passing phase one, or you should almost be passing phase one. The proper thing that always remember, risk management. And please start using these alerts. So these are how I've set up my alerts. So these are similar to EU, gold, or whatnot, right? So I come in here. I've set up condition is EU or gold or whatever chart I'm using. So that's the condition. Crossing, right? So you can do crossing up or crossing down, but for me, I'm just leaving it crossing because, of course, if it's crossing down, it means you want it to fire when price is closing below. If it's crossing up, it's firing when price is closing up. And then do EMA. We are using the 9 EMA. So 9 EMA is our short-term EMA. 200 EMA is our longer-term EMA. So here I picked 9 EMA. I set EMA to the right. And then I did once per bar close. So this means this alert is going to fire, and I'm setting it on the 5-minute chart. So an alert is always going to fire on whatever chart you're setting it on. So I'm setting it on the 5-minute chart once per bar close. I'm setting it to expire. I don't want it to expire tomorrow. So I want it to expire the longest time I can have. So I have that as April. I think I need to change this. March, it should go up to May 19th. Wait, I thought anyway, I'll take care of that later. So set it to, April 19th. I forgot we're in March. So April 19th, and then I set the name of the alert, EU crossing 9 EMA. So if this was US 30 crossing 9 EMA. Now what this does for you, and we're gonna see this during a trending day. I hope we get a trending day soon so that we can see this on the live session. So what you'll see is that if here, if we're looking, and this will work for our reverse strategies, we just need price to keep trending and trending and trending and trending. And then when price reverses, like here we can see, for example, EU is a perfect opportunity right now, right? So we're looking for sales on EU. Instead of FOMOing in any of, so if you're looking for sales on EU here, and then you know that, okay, I'm looking for sales, I'm looking for EU to sell. And then you see price keep trending up. A lot of people, what do? They sell here, maybe they sell here, maybe they sell here, maybe they sell here. What would have happened? Remember our strategies: closure below the 9 EMA, retest of the 9 EMA, and closure below, right? So instead of FOMOing and being in drawdown this whole time, guess what? The first opportunity we could have had for a sell on EU is when? Here. So an alert would ring for you here for an EU sell. But then remember, you need, right? I think the other thing I forgot to show you in the alerts, you can change when it's, or the, here, under notification. So I have it set up on my phone, and I have it set up to pop up on my screen. And then what I also have is play the sound, right? So what would have happened here? If I had this alert set, it would have rang, and then I would have come to my charts, and I'm like, okay, what do I need to wait for? Prices closed below the 9 EMA from, for a very, this is the first time in a long time. Perfect. So I wait for the next candle. Guess what? The next candle closes above the 9 EMA. it doesn't give me a confirmation because remember, I'm waiting for closure below the 9 EMA and then closure, retest of the 9 EMA and closure below the 9 EMA. So here, no sell for me, right? So here, this is no sell for me because that one, if you entered here on impulse, could have hit your 20 pip stop loss because ideally our take profit and stop loss for FX pairs or for EU is 2020. So then you just keep going on your day, right? The next time EU closes below the 9 EMA and retest the 9 EMA is this zone right here. So you could have entered this trade as a filler trade. So for this trending, because ideally you're looking for a counter trend. So for this trade right here, this is the first time EU closed below the 9 EMA. So you could have gotten an alert sent to you here. The next candle retests exactly the 9 EMA and closes below. So you enter on the next candle right there. You go up into profit 782. You got it go up into profit like 5 pips. And then so for FX pairs or for EU, since our take profit is 20 pips, you can set break even after 10 pips. But for you, if you enter, this was a valid trade for me. This was a valid sell. If anybody would have entered here, users, remember, this is counter trend. Use a small lot size, 20 pips, you're taken out. 20 pips, if you're using a 0.5 lot size or one lot, you could have only lost $200 here. That is fine. You just wait and wait and wait. So here, price closed below the 9 EMA here, closed above, no entry. Here you could have got, I think we got this alert. Price closed above the 9 EMA here, and then retested the 9 EMA and closed below. You enter that sell. So this trade is a valid trade, still in a little bit of drawdown. But look at stop loss is 20 pips. This is a good zone right here because we have a sell zone coming up. So this trade would still be running. So that is the importance of just use these alerts, and it's going to help you not FOMO in any trades. Just wait for that ping to ring on your computer or on your phone, and then come back to your computer and see what's going on. But yeah, other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, and then we'll catch some more wins. I'm going to send this pending orders in the Discord after this. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, thanks, bro.
All right, bye.